Here we're going to go over a rough frame prep and cab install. So per the instructions, there's only a few mounts you got to cut off. There's the front cab mounts from the S10. So you want to cut them off. I used a plasma. I'll show you that in the full video. And then just grind them smooth. I got the front roughed in. I just wanted to get these off of here, so I plasmaed them off. So I'll give you the measurement from, there's a bottom hole under here. You can see it, that hole right there. You'll come forward per the instructions, come up, use a square to kind of level that and get a nice straight line. It's actually somewhat cumbersome to get that straight, so sometimes you just got to kind of eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll go over these in another video for the engine. This is I believe a 2001 or so frame. 94 and up will have these threaded, and these are actually metric, but standard threads, believe it or not, will go in there. And we got, so the rear cabin bed mount, this is probably going to take you the longest. I plasma cut it off, and then to finish this up real nice, it took probably about 30 minutes or so, so at least 15 minutes per side. So keep that in mind. That's going to be probably the longest thing to deal with. This is actually a long bed frame. They're getting harder to find, but I cut the appropriate amount off the back. I have that recorded. That will be in the video. We got the rear fuel tank set up in, and then I'll go over in another video. This is a coilover setup that I'm working on, and with these frames, this cross member was all one piece for the upper shock towers, and so we had to make a custom patch here. You don't really have to go to that degree, but you do have to cut out. They have a factory spot weld there. I'll show you that. Really not, this stuff isn't really a big concern with, you know, just a typical kit install. And I'll go over in another video like everything you get, but I want to kind of just focus on the basics just to give you an overview of frame prep, some times, and then how we have the cab mounts laid out. Like I said, the rear mounts are going to take you the longest. Plasma cutting is the best, and then it's just much faster. I think it took not even 10 minutes to do these. I have that recorded, so we'll show you that, or that might have been with both of those. But basically, we have no transmission cross member in here, so that would get removed. If you have a carrier bearing cross member, that can typically stay. This bed mount typically can stay, and like I said, the back, we cut off some of that, and that's just about it. So one other thing on the newer frames, this little e-brake bracket was like right in this area, so that does get cut off, and that's about it for the frame prep. Like I said, we'll put together a little montage on all of that and give you a rough time on that. I mean, really shouldn't take that long, you know, probably about 30-40 minutes on those. And then ideally, when you're setting up your frame, a couple things to note. Obviously we're on rollers here, and this floor does have a little bit of a grade to it, but if you don't do anything to your suspension, just a stock S10, you're going to have some rake. So what I would suggest is level the frame and then put your cab mounts on. If you have a 2-3 static drop, that's going to level the frame a little bit more, so you don't have to I mean, you could check your frame level, but you won't have to probably put the frame up on jack stands or whatnot. But it is probably more ideal to get yourself set up and get these level. So this is the front cab mount. This is the rear cab. On my kit, the running board bracket's connected to the front, and there's an oval in the frame here as far as placing these. The instructions will tell you to come off the front of that oval 4.5 inches. And so you'll come up off of the front of that oval 4.5 inches. You'll make your mark, and then there's a little notch in this cab mount. That's the center. Just find the center of your landing bracket. This is the landing bracket. This is the tower. This is the anchor. So all you do, per the instructions, place your landing bracket on the second, well, if you're doing a 4-inch off frame, this set of holes right here, the second one from the top. So that's going to set you at 4 inches off frame. And then you just literally place it right on there, and that should get you, sorry about that, get you pretty much set. If you really want to get crazy about it, you can take, my tape measure's stuck, of course. I'll go over the bushings here in a second. So take a tape measure. Now in the kit, everything's going to be labeled. You're going to have all the hardware labeled, and this is the setup for the front cab. It's going to use a round washer, 1 bushing, and then you'll get a lock washer and a flat washer. This will take the longer bolt. So you could take and set all that on there with the washer. See right there, we're 4 inches. Four inches off frame from the front. That's what is the only thing that's going to measure 4 inches off frame. So it's a setting. Everything on this kit is designed to be based off of this setting, and all the mounts are pretty much equal. So this will be flush, this will be flush, and everything goes in equal increments, so up or down 1 inch. So, you know, let's say you do not have a drop suspension on there. When you get to your rear running board bracket, that's the only one that would be offset. It would come down 1 inch because obviously the frame's raking, if you don't want it to rake or have that look. And that's what's nice about this kit, is you can move these up or down. The middle running board bracket floats, so there's a lot of adjustment depending on your desires and whatnot, but everything is meant to possible. So your towers are very similar. Everything throughout the kit is the same concept and symmetrical in some way or another. When we get to the rear cab, as far as placement with the instructions, there is a little bit of difference in the measurement, simply because not all cabs are the same. So a good rule of thumb, come off the center back. Right here we did 36.5 inches. That's the most common, and it still allows movement forward and back. And that's what's nice about my kit, is you have movement forward and back and up and down. The running boards, everything will have forward and back movement. And then same concept here. Once you mark your center, put your landing bracket on, and then we're gonna go same set of holes. I tried to keep this simple. So this will mount the same as the front. You don't got to worry about trying to level the back to the front. Okay, don't do that. There's several reasons why the cab's different on the floor if you have the stock floor. And again, this is designed for a stock floor, so if there's any modifications, then you're gonna have to do a little bit of math or, you know, tweak these a little bit. But everything's designed around the stock floor, and the rear is actually gonna get 2 of these bushings, and it's gonna get the shorter bolt, and then you're gonna get a flat washer. It will be labeled. That's to go inside the cab. There's gonna be 2 holes. If you have a 47 to 48 is a little different. We'll go over that in another video. There's extra floor braces that I supply that will go on the corners. So we're gonna do a 4-corner parameter mount on the 47 to 48. So you will have to drill a hole in those. It's best to just put the front mounts on, get your cab mocked up, put this on, and then come up from here into your cab floor. Like I said, there's an extra brace because the floors weren't meant to have 4-corner mounts. But if you have 49 to 55 first series, you're gonna have 2 holes in the floor inside. It's the inner hole that you'll just open up to accept a 1/2-inch bolt. So it's just a hair under. So you just got to open up that cab floor, drop your bolt through. You'll have 2 bushings and your round washer right here. And then, like I said, this will go inside the cab. And then same process as far as mounting this up, making sure this is level. What you're gonna need are some common tools, drill, a little step bit or ready bit or whatever they call them, a little snap punch I call them, or a spring punch. You're gonna need, I wrote them down here, it's in the instructions. The main thing you're gonna need is 5/8/16 tap, and that's gonna require 3/8/16 tap, 5/16 drill. You're gonna need a 1/4-inch drill bit for your 5/16 18 thread. Okay, the 5/16 are gonna be these small ones that are on your landing brackets, and then your 3/8 are gonna be here. This particular frame, since it's boxed, we're gonna have to drill and tap. Now, obviously, I mean, you could weld this stuff on. If you do, I would just do some heavy tacks, mock everything up, and then final weld it. But at any rate, just get yourself some good drill bits. I usually get them from like Drill Hog online, or like Tractor Supply has some decent ones. Cobalt steel is typically the better. Don't fall for the titanium coated drill bits from Harbor Freight and stuff like that. They're not going to last you that long. But definitely get some good drill bits. And then I use, we'll show too in another video when we're installing all this, a ratchet tap. And you could use, I've used transfer punches in here, and they work okay, but you know, you're gonna, you know, it's pretty crackerjack on getting them to all line up. So just be mindful of that. But that is basically about it. So we just have everything laid out, and then we're gonna go through. Another thing I would suggest, I would put one here and do one here, and then go through. Don't just go through and do all 4, you know, per side, then move to the next. I would just do 2, check everything, and honestly, possibly even go through the rest of the kit, get your body mocked up, and once you're happy with everything, then you could go through and drill and tap the rest. That's just me. I like to be a little over cautious on things. And like I said, the biggest thing here to note is don't try to level your front to back. It's all accounted for, and we've had good success with most cabs being level once you go this route. And that's about it for this segment. We're gonna do a little montage of drilling and tapping, trying to get you some times on that. And we'll go through the engine. I'll do another video on core support. I'll do a video on the bed. That's gonna be its own little animal. And then running boards are pretty simple. Bumpers are very simple. So we'll go over all that, and then all the extra mods and stuff like that, like 4-link, will be its own video. The rear fuel tank, we got compressor brackets, air tank brackets, raised bed floor brackets. That'll be its own video. But hopefully you enjoy this segment. We got this is just, like I said, a coilover version frame we're doing up for a guy, and so all of this is still prototype. We're going to try to get weight on it, get a body on it, make sure everything's good before it goes out. We're not going to final finish this frame for him. He's going to blast it and powder coat it, but we're going to get the kit on there, coilover suspension in the rear, coilover, the extended control arms, fuel tank kit, and he's going to do our brake assembly as well. He has a really nice body for this, so I'm going to be really excited to see this truck out and about. So that's it for this segment. Thanks, guys.